So some people in the comment section were telling me that I should leave Rutendo Matinyarare alone because, he doesn't need my attention. But I beg to differ. I think we need to give him the attention that he needs. Only what we do here is we debunk his theories and prove them bare between chalk and cheese. So, without further ado, this is another episode where we debunk chalk and cheese. So, let's get it. All right. So, Rutendo Matinyarare writes in this speech that I'm going to show you on the screen right now. He says, someone asked me why medical equipment is so difficult to get in Zimbabwe when Zimbabwe has so much wealth in resources, and why Zimbabwe doesn't use those resources to buy medical equipment from its allies. The fact is Zimbabwe's inability to get medicines and medical equipment or machines, right? The fact that Zimbabwe's inability to get machines or medical equipment or machines is not limited to financial capacity in Zimbabwe, but allies, Zimbabwe's allies are governments. They don't manufacture medicines, medical equipment, and medical machines, but it is private company in their countries that manufacture these medical products for profit, right? And even when allied government companies manufacture the same equipment, most of these state-owned companies are unwilling to sell their goods and services to sanctioned countries like Zimbabwe because they fear, one, being sanctioned by the US, being closed out of profitable Western markets, being denied US dollar payment clearances, being denied parts, software, patents, and technology to produce their products, having their bank accounts closed, blocked, or their directors being denied visas, or their directors being arrested in the US for contravening US executive orders and sanctions by doing business with sanctioned countries like Zimbabwe. Additionally, many banks will refuse to transfer payments to such companies from a sanctioned country like Zimbabwe. Some companies in countries where Zimbabwe has no corresponding banking relations, so there is no way for them to receive funds from Zimbabwe. While logistics, transportation, and insurance companies may refuse to move and insure the medical goods from medical supplies manufacturers to Zimbabwe out of fear of secondary sanctions and criminal prosecution under sanctions. This is the submission by Rutendo Matinyarare. Right? Want to prove to you that this is a lie. Right here in your picture, you can see this is Wopo Shingono. And he was speaking in Cape Town. And we want to debunk one of that theory. And going back to what Rutendo Matinyarare said, want to debunk that theory and show you that this is a lie, a clear lie. There is nothing like that that says people, Zimbabwe, cannot buy machinery outside of Zimbabwe, whether it's medical. I'm going to prove it to you. Let's listen here.
Mobilize. And I started talking about this issue on social media. But when I engaged the political elites, they were not interested because they can jump on a plane and go to Cape Town and the bill is taken care of by government. Because they can go to India, because they can go to China. Last year I was in London. I had reported on social media that Zimbabwe, the whole capital city, has got only 9 working dialysis machines.
Did you hear that?
Women have to use public transport around 2 a.m. to go to these 2 centers that have these machines. Some people sleep there hoping to get a slot. Sometimes they are given a prescription of 3 sessions a week. Sometimes they only get 1 because of that. I got 50 machines from Birmingham, from a Zimbabwean who's an engineer in the National Health Service.
50.
My government
50 machines. How much difference were they going to make in Zimbabwe? 50 machines.
And everyone is involved is not interested. Those 50 machines are sitting in London. So it's
Do you hear that? How painful it is. Let's just take a listen. 50 machines. How much lives could they have saved?
of that. I got 50 machines from Birmingham, from a Zimbabwean who's an engineer in the National Health Service. My government and everyone is involved is not interested. Those 50 machines are sitting in London. So
Do you hear that? It's very, very painful for someone like Rutendo to just say, we are not getting machines because of sanctions. Those are 50 machines. Why not allow them to come in? But because, you know, a lot of people, it's not that they don't want to do things in Zimbabwe. There are a lot of individuals who cannot support their own school unless they go through the MP in the province, in the constituency. They go through Sabuk. Kune vanhu vari kutadza kubhadharira vana school fees because they will be labeled kunzi vaunza mare that is coming from the West. This is the same thing that they are seeing here at play. The fact that there is no ZANU-PF who is going to be praised for delivering those 50 machines, that's the only reason. So they say, let people die. Let people not be serviced. But 50 machines, no problem. And then want to debunk another mystery. That, do you know that Zimbabwe was actually one of the fastest country to inoculate people for COVID-19? Why was that? They acquired the vaccines from China. And South Africa, when South Africa was complaining that we are not getting jabs here, even Julius Malema was saying, I will go to Zimbabwe and get a jab and come back. Where were the sanctions? Where were the sanctions that Rutendo talks about when we look at how many equipment is coming inside Zimbabwe? Talk of Tifoma that is working at the roundabout there in Harare. They bought equipment from China. They bought equipment, construction equipment. There is a company that is going to be opened in Vuma. That company brought in those blast furnaces that are for smelting iron to revive what used to happen in Redcliffe. They were not denied because of sanctions. They came in. Nobody sanctioned them. So my question is, where does he get all this? Where does he get all this? It's the unwillingness of ZANU-PF to buy these equipments. Are you telling me that in the interest of wanting to buy equipment, why don't you just buy from South Africa? Oh, South Africa, buy your equipment. If they could devise a plan, you remember when in the gold mafia, they were saying that they are taking equipment to Dubai, they are taking gold to Dubai because they are under sanctions. My question is, why not buy equipment from Dubai instead of bringing US dollars, minted US dollars? Why not bring machinery for hospitals? There is no willingness in ZANU-PF. Why? Because all the elites in ZANU-PF, they can afford private healthcare. So they'll say to all the citizens, now the ones that they were giving chicken in during the campaign trail, we give you chicken, but we'll deny you medical supply. So this is one of the lies that Rutendo is trying to peddle and say, we are not getting medical equipment in Zimbabwe because of sanctions, which is a lie. And it is something that is totally disingenuous, and we debunk it here. What do you think about Rutendo's assertions and the lies that we have stopped? I'd love to hear your thoughts about this.